This is the potato masher that I got the other day that I showed in my last video at the thrift store, and I decided I might as well get it made over so I can have it for the craft show. It was 50 cents. Those usually just come right off of there. There. Rub that sticky stuff off. Okay, it looks like it was blue at some time. But I've got some paint here that I had mixed up from a prior project quite a while ago, and I'm just going to use it on there. Yeah, I like that color. It'll probably take a good 2 coats. And then I'll distress it, seal it, and then we'll decorate it. It should be an easy project until I get to the decorating, trying to figure out what to do. It'll probably have a candle in it, I imagine. Alright, I'm going to finish painting this, and I'll be back when I have it distressed and sealed and let you look at it, and then we'll start decorating. Well, I've painted it and distressed it, and I'm waiting for it to dry. I'm going to seal it, but I'm going to go ahead and start working on the bottom, decorating it. I have a few things pulled out here, and we'll see how it turns out, what it looks like. But that's what I have so far. I have a little wreath, some moss, this candle. I have put cinnamon and glue on it and let it dry well. I have quite a few of these already done up that I grab in my craft stash. And then some berries, and I'm not sure if I'll use those or something else, but this is what I have out so far. Alright, now I'm going to find me some wood, and I'm going to cut this little bird pattern out. And I'm going to kind of do it like I did a video or two back with the 4x4 post, only the last one I had it as a crow. And I'm going to do this a little more, it's not going to be primitive. The last one's a primitive. This one's going the opposite direction. Okay, I'm going to try my hand at using the salt wash, and I have 3 different paints that I've mixed here. I mixed folk art, Italian sage, and deco art, avocado, and then I had a little bit of green from another project. I just poured them all in here, and I really mixed up too much, so I saved some in here because I don't think it's going to require that much to do this little bird in the wing. So I'm going to try my hand at it for the first time. I've never even used it. We'll see how hard it is together. It says to mix it to a thick cake batter consistency, and I don't know how much it is, so I'm going to do a little bit at a time. And y'all go along with me on this, see how it works. I think it's going to take more. Yeah, so far, not quite a half scoop on this little dab. I think it's getting there. Still maybe a little thin. You know, if you want to know how to do something, you just YouTube it. That's what I do. I'm going to put a little more. That will be a half a scoop because I started out about like that. That's looking like a thick, you can't really tell, can you? That looks like a thick cake batter. I'm going to leave it there on that. I'm going to get it all mixed up and find me a brush. I should have had it already, but I didn't. And I don't think you can save this. Once you mix it up, you have to use it, I think. I'm pretty sure. But don't take my word for it. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. Get me a brush. What kind of brush do I want to use? I'll use this one. I use kind of a chippy brush. And that's not on there good, so I'll have to be careful. It says, maybe it's, yeah. I'm just pouncing it on, leaving kind of peaks. Could have maybe been a little thicker. I'm saying it could have been a little thicker. I'll go around my finger to the very end. Now, I'll let that completely dry. Well, not completely. I'll come back here in a minute. After it dries some, you're supposed to kind of smooth over it. But I don't know if I really need to because my textures, I could have used a little thicker texture, but I might want it smoothed down some. Okay, I'm going to set this in my block to dry. And my wing, which way am I going to have? I've got to figure out which way I'm going to have this bird facing. Okay, I think like that, so that means the wing. I'm trying to figure out which way my wing needs to go. Knowing me, I'll do it the wrong way. I think. Well, I'm going to put it this way. If that doesn't work, then we'll turn the bird around. Or I'll go cut another wing for the other side. I'm going to put this in the plate to do it. Sides don't need to be all chunky, just as long as they're covered. Okay, I'm going to let that dry a little bit. Boy, do I have a lot left over. And I don't think you can save this. Glad I pulled out some after I mixed it up. Okay, I'm going to let this dry. And then we'll come back, not dry completely, but I'll let it dry some. Then I'll come back and kind of smooth over it. And then give it the top coat. I see I missed a spot there, but it doesn't matter. Go some more. I need to kind of smooth out where the wing goes for sure. All right, I'll be back. I hope I didn't let it dry down too much. I was in the other room doing stuff and so I'm coming in. Yeah, I might have to push a little harder. I let it dry too much. And it's rolling. The texture's fine. I just don't want those pieces on there. I think that texture is going to be just fine. I'm going to go over it with plaster. Get that off of there. Okay, well now I'm going to let it finish drying before I put the top coat on. My bird is dry now, and I'm going to give it a coat of the Waverly chalk wax in plaster. And then I'll let that dry, and then I'll go out and hit it with my sander just to knock some of the green back in and that way it'll have some texture. I've been wanting to try the salt for a long time, and I finally broke in and got me some. So where's my stick? All right, I'm going to finish painting this up. Well, while my bird is drying, I'm going to go ahead and paint the block, and they both can be sitting here drying at the same time. And I'm also putting the plaster on it, and I'm sure I'll give the bottom 2 coats of the plaster. Well, I have it painted, and I took it out in the garage and sanded it down with my sander. And you can see some texture and the greens coming through. So now I'm just going to go over it with some clear wax, because I might want to put some dark wax on it. I'm not sure. So I'm going to seal it with the clear first. I'll just do this, and then if I decide to go dark with it in some of it, I'll come back and show you. And if not, then I'll have this part finished, and I'm going to move on to the block now after I do this. All right, I am going to go over the edges with the black wax, just to give it some depth, I guess. I don't want it really on the bird itself. Looks, there's the side without and the side with. Okay, go do this side. It doesn't have a wing on it. I should have cut 2 wings so it could be turned either way, and I didn't. Wasn't thinking. All right, now I'm going to set the bird aside and start on my wood block. All right, this is what I'm using to put on my blocks for a decoupage. I bought some rice paper off of Amazon, and this is what I used, and it's an A4, and I just picked out my image, and I did put it on the A4 size, and I fed this directly. I felt like it was thick enough that it didn't need to go on a sheet of paper, and this particular stuff, it fed through just fine. So what I'll do, I mean, I didn't have a problem with it, is I'm just going to go around it with some water and tear these out, because this is going to go onto my block. And that's what I'll decoupage. I have one for every side, and I just went ahead and filled up the paper instead of wasting it. I put a couple extra images on the paper. So that's what I'll be putting on my blocks. Now I have the images that I printed out on the rice paper, and I'm just going to glue them onto my block. And I'll do it on all 4 sides. I'll choose a different pattern. I have that. Need to kind of move that over some. Oh, be careful. I thought I had it on there right. Put a little more on that. Okay, that looks right. All right. And I'll go over it with the Mod Podge on top. My ink's smearing a little bit. I've never had that problem. Okay, that is good. Now I'll go to this side and choose a pattern or a printout. I'll use this one. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry. All right, I have sanded down the edges on it, and I have some Waverly brown wax with a little black mixed in it. And I just shook it up. I'm gonna use the lid, and I'm just gonna go around the edges here. And just set it off some like that. My hands are going to be messy. Okay, I think that looks good. Now I'm ready to put my bird on and then do whatever else I need to do to it. All right, I took some of this floral wire that's covered in paper. I got it off of Amazon, and I just twirled it around the bottom, from the bottom up to the top. And then I have different kinds of floral moss that I took and just put around the bottom and also fed it up on the wire. And I decided the front, I wanted the wooden bucket with the florals in it, and I just took some material and I used this kind of gold and then the black and white kind of all tie in with the colors, and that's how it turned out. Okay, I'm going to throw in a really quick thrift haul because there's not much and I like it. And I wanted to share it with you. For $1 in this bag, and I've already thrown away, I think there was 4 other stamp pads that weren't any good. I threw those away, but these are all good. This is color block. There's a black, a white, a pink, or a fuchsia, and a red. And then the pigmented ink pad, there's a black, a green, and a blue. And then there was one of these, I think it was a linen, that wasn't any good, and I threw it out. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4 that was perfectly good. And I got all, and then there was a cleaner, a stamp cleaner also. All of those for $1. And you know how much these cost. Then from there, I found this little, it was supposed to be a 6-pack of tea lights, and they're the basics or the mainstays from Walmart, 50 cents. There's one missing. And then from Hobby Lobby, I found these two little trees, and I got those for 25 cents a piece. There was more of them. I should have picked up more of them, but it's not Christmas. But I didn't want to leave them, so I picked those up. Then I found this old pot, and I like it just the way it is. I think it's perfect. That was, I think it was 50 cents. Yeah, it was 50 cents. And then I found me a rooster. Pull it out this way for 50 cents. And I will repaint that. But I think that was a pretty good haul. I got my husband a shirt, and I got a set of measuring cups from Faberware. Really cute. They were different colors. And I spent $5 for all of it. All right, on to the video. All right, well, I'm working on another project, and I've made one of these before, but I'm doing it a little different. I made a plain white one, and my daughter wanted it, so I gave it to her as paper towel holder. So this one's going to be a more primitive style. So I have my pattern here, and I just put it up to my board wasn't quite as wide as the pattern, and that's just fine. And I just brought it up to 14 inches, and I just traced around this up here. And I want a star on it, so cut out my star, and I put it on here and traced it. And now I'm gonna drill a hole in the middle of my star so that I can, hold on, feed my scroll saw blade up through there and cut the star out. Well, I started painting this, and I thought I'd better let you know where I'm at with it. And I'm going to paint it flat black, and then I'll take it out to the garage and distress the edges, and then I'll seal it, and it'll be finished. And all this was like a 5-inch board going across, and I just cut the top off and then cut my star out, and then the rod back here that holds the paper towel, that's actually just a garden stake that holds tomatoes up, and a 5x5 square. And I nailed it and glued it all together, and I think it's going to be cute. But I'll show it to you when it's finished. I put a second coat of the black paint on it, and I'll let that dry well, and then I'll take it out to the garage and use my sander and then distress the edges of it, and then bring it back in, and I'll probably put a coat of the dark wax on it, and it'll be finished. I have it sanded, and now I'm going to put some of this Minwax Special Dark. It doesn't do a lot, but it puts a nice look to the black, and darkens around on the edges of where the wood is. And I'll tell you, the thing when it was just plain black, just didn't have any character, was just ugly. Not ugly, plain, just plain. And as soon as I put the distressing on it, I just think it makes it look so much better. Especially around where the star's at, you can see it. So I'm going to finish doing this and let it dry a little bit and rub it down. And we'll be finished with this. So guys, until the next one, I'll see you later.